Good evening, and welcome to Tuesday
Superman.
night. This is the night where we're going to answer questions. Questions that you probably will not have until next week, but you will answer them tonight.
Yeah.
Because we're that way. We're just that kind of guys.
Yep. That's what we do.
Tonight, we're in the midst of NAMM, Virtual NAMM Week. Jay Brannan has been up since the crack of dawn,
Yes.
answering questions, interviews, video interviews, being the man.
I need some coffee.
And here he is, still with us. Literally it seemed like 12 hours ago that I was talking to him.
Yes, you and I were chit-chatting this morning a long time ago, it seems.
It seemed like days ago.
And it was confusing because I wasn't quite sure what was really going on, but
Yeah,
we had our PR lady in the room too. That's the best part.
Yeah, so
you didn't just get me. You got the PR lady too.
Oh, and you get the Pulse
Carolyn's
was with
totally
us.
cool.
So we had a lot of stuff going on, but Brian, just kind of like a regular show in which Jay is there. The PR person didn't get to say much. Christian didn't get to say much.
Yeah.
I asked 2 questions which were both ignored, and then Jay was there.
And I made a crack that John was not happy with, and I understand why. But I thought it was a great crack.
It was good.
It was a good comment.
It was a very good comment of describing a situation.
Yes.
And
an audience for a particular product. And what I felt they would be willing to go without for a month in order to afford the product.
And I knew that if we put that into the little video interview that we did, one or both of us was going to get in trouble.
Yeah. May not be the comment. Yeah. And I'm not going to say it tonight, but I could say it without getting censored by YouTube. Like it wouldn't even blink. It wouldn't even be a blank.
Yeah.
I could say it in front of a mixed crowd of children. It's just that there would be people that would go, even though that's completely legal in the state where you live, we don't want to hear that comment. And I'll tell you off air. And if anyone goes in the chill room tonight, I'll repeat the comment there. So
because it was, and yet the edit of it, if you listen, you'll tell where there's a little bloop. That's where it was.
And that's where it was. Okay.
But I mean, it audio-wise sounded good. There's just all of a sudden you see Jay talking here, and all of a sudden his head's over here, the type of thing. It's amazing how quick he did that. So.
These things happen.
Yeah. So Brian.
Happen.
Yes. Kind of start us off. You've been doing some studying of the virtual NAMM. You've been checking it out. Impressions.
NAMMing in pajamas. So, yeah.
I wasn't wearing pants this morning.
Well, I have not.
I had shorts on. I'm just saying. I
have not actively sat down here and watched anything or really participated in anything NAMM without pajamas on. But I kind of get it. I'm getting the hang of it, and I don't know that everybody's going to, but this virtual NAMM is very much its own social media platform.
Yeah.
So you can go in there and create your own profile, which is what people see when you attend sessions and such. So a lot of people, like, for instance, let's say that John just wanted to join up. He didn't really pay much attention to the whole thing. He just kind of wanted to see what was there. There'd be like a circle, and it would say JY for John Young in the circle, kind of generic, and that's what he would represent. That would represent him wherever we went. I went ahead and put a picture up of me in front of the NAMM sign and gave a little bio, put my social media links in there, my phone number, my email address, all my contact information. And so what I'll do, you can go on these kind of landing pages, I guess, for different companies or groups of companies. Like Pioneer has one, and every company has one. And when you go in there, you can, kind of take a look at what their products are and who their reps are, usually, except for the Pioneer one doesn't show that for some reason. But you can kind of, when I go to Pioneer and I try to scroll down to see, who are the people like product specialists I can interact with or whatever.
You go to the chat and that we're all there.
Yeah, but there's not a list of you below. Most of the landing pages you go to, you'll see an individual list of people you can contact.
Right.
So, for instance, if it was set up like that, I could go to Jay or Christian or Flip or whoever happens to be representing NAMM, virtual NAMM, and I could talk to them directly. So if I had a relationship
Yes.
with Jay like I do, and I needed to do some business with Pioneer because I was a retailer or something, I could go directly to him. I wouldn't just get whoever happened to be in the chat. Most pages have that. So if I don't know anybody, like in a group landing page or a company landing page, and I'm interested in product, there's a little open chat like Jay said where you can just say hello and somebody will get back to you. I've done that, and it's kind of nice. Then there are the scheduled video seminars.
Yeah.
You can register to attend. It's free to do, and you can make your own schedule. And you can, like, I don't know, some feature demonstration or something. Let's say it comes on at noon. It'll give you a little message. Hey, come find a seat. Presentation starts soon. You go in there and you can watch it. But there's also that chat box for attendees who can talk to each other. And you can see who else is attending this little seminar. And, you know, it was funny because I did the Electro Voice one for the launch of the Evolve 50M.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Robin was there.
I was there.
You know,
Yeah, it was fun.
You were there. People were there that I knew, and I could see their names and sometimes their picture. And what I was able to do, unless you're like a VIP, like some people, you're able to like click on them and like request a contact, make them a contact. And it's kind of like a friends list on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you collect these people, and I don't know, it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat once you get the hang of it, and anybody can do it. So,
and I think as you know, different conventions that are out there and the having to go virtual, these businesses are learning how to do that. And I say these businesses, the NAM is learning how to put together and run a virtual event. The different companies that are involved with it as exhibitors are learning how to do that. And then we as users, whether we're media or just the general public, we're learning how to do these things. And the first time or two through these are going to be tough, but there's some little components of it that are really quite cool, that connecting, chat, what have you. There's times where we'll go to a show, and it's very possible, Brian, that you and I may not see each other at a NAM more than a few minutes. And
yeah, maybe I see John, maybe I don't. If I do, it might be a hi bye.
Yeah, exactly. So. And that's I think that the live events are going to come back. There's no question about that. But I think that there's components of these digital virtual events we're seeing that are going to become part of that. Now there's going to be a live segment and there's going to be a virtual segment. It's not going to be completely ignored because there are some people who can utilize this and they can reach more people. And once you start doing that, I don't think you can go back completely.
I think they've been trying to integrate it for a while, but they weren't really sure how. But here's their opportunity. So, yeah, maybe next year when NAM is live again, this will still be a component.
As far as I know, and again, I don't know everything, so don't take what I say as like, oh, Jay said it's this, so it is. But I'm to understand this will be a component next year. They plan on having a live show, but I think moving forward, you're going to see this sort of integration. And, you know, the upside for me is if you have the time to sit in front of a computer screen, you can go through and pick and choose where you want to go. I mean, I'm clicking off on stuff I want to go see for guitars and who's this. But the one aspect that, even though it's drudgery to many people, and I understand I live in a very rarefied earth, I get paid to go to these events. So I'm not traveling, shelling out money going, man, you know, I got to do an extra gig to do this. This is where I get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So for me, it's work, but it's also, I can't express to you how much I love seeing you guys and how much I love meeting new people and how much I love having PR agents go, Jay, can you come over and talk to these guys about this? And I just deliver. So that aspect of the show is completely gone. Yeah. And I'm trying to live within this virtual one. And it's challenging. I mean, you know, I know that you went to the Fairlight because you made a comment saying like, I'm going to go check out the Fairlight seminar.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost like what we do here, where there are people in the chat, they're talking, and with YouTube, you can't click on someone and like kind of follow them. I think you can only report or, you know, that's it. But it would be kind of a cool way moving forward in all realms, where if you walk into a room and they're talking about a new mixer and you're a shy, quiet gal or guy, if you could click on someone and go, hey, I noticed that you're in Southern California, so am I, and I do, I'm hoping this will ultimately evolve into getting us closer, even though we're further apart.
Are you wearing a lot of bracelets today?
What's that?
It's got to be your hair.
What is that? Noise?
A lot of noise coming through your mic. I'm thinking.
Is there really? Is it that?
It's part that, part your hair, I think.
Oh, sorry. I can go wireless, but I think it's worse.
No, just hold still.
I need an elastic.
I'm going to put you in a straight jacket. We'll be fine. No, I was just trying to figure it out. I was distracted by the noise. But no, I mean, it's just so everybody knows, we haven't really talked about this in this broadcast. This is free for anyone. You can go to the link. I'm sure John will be kind enough to put that in the description of this video of where you can sign up to attend the NAMM show. Absolutely free to sign up. And like I said, you go in, you create your profile. Anybody can go. You don't have to pretend you're somebody you're not. You can just be you and go and check it out. You can look at the new products. You can check out some videos. You don't have to spend all day there. You can just go there for an hour or two. That's what I did. I was there for probably about 3 hours, maybe, actively checking things out yesterday. Today, I just popped in. There wasn't really anything happening on the schedule that was really for me, except there was some kind of, what do they call it, like some kind of DJ profile of all the big DJs throughout history who they've interviewed at NAMM. And it was everybody. I mean, it was Grandmaster Flash. It was Theodore. It was, you name it. They were all the old school guys were there. So that was pretty interesting. But it's kind of a fun thing to watch.
So I would think they would promote that. They're big on the history of music. They understand what we were just talking about off air. NAMM is very pay respect to the history, pay respect to where we came from, pay respect to where this started, kind of a mentality. I will be honest, if you don't know this, Brian, and you may not, you might, but I can tell you the way the NAMM show has been set up this year, it's Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the seminars, check this out. We have something new. We're doing this. But it's going to come down to Thursday, Friday is when you're going to get barraged. Like we have 8 performers on Thursday and a happy hour.
That. Yeah.
Then we have 4 performers on Friday and a happy hour. We have giveaways. They're really saving it all up for those 2 days.
Sure. You have Jazzy Jeff in there on Thursday, I think I saw.
What's that?
Is that Jazzy Jeff? You have Jazzy Jeff?
Jazzy Jeff's playing. We've got Roger Sanchez, James Hype,
Sanchez, yeah.
DJ Analyze, Mellow D, Scratch Bastard. It's a lot going on. They're all being interviewed. We're doing our best to give that sense of if I was there, and I saw a performance, I might want to know a little more about the artist.
Sure.
So we've made sure that all of the performances have that interview. I think you're going to see that with a lot of other companies, and we expect that's when chats will really explode.
What's going to happen on Thursday too, I heard, is that there's going to be this feature where Stevie Wonder wanders onto your screen.
I would love that to happen.
And the screen goes blank. You're not allowed to watch anything NAMM.
Right.
And you're supposed to back off like 10 feet from your screen until he's done. And then you can go back to what you were doing.
I mean, it's those, I said to Christian this morning, this is, Christian and I for 18 years have had a routine. And as you understand with Christian, there's 2 lanes. Yeah, it's a very straight road.
Yeah.
There is no veering off to the side. That's where I come in. Yeah. Come on, let's go over here. No. And we had a routine. He's like, we're not going to be at Molly's. We've eaten at Molly's 5 times, breakfast 5 times at every show. Well, that doesn't mean much until you stop and realize, I'm talking we've eaten breakfast 90 times at Molly's. It's like...
I think that was the point I wanted to make was, this is a free thing. Anybody can go. But do understand that everybody you're watching on the screen right now has a very different NAMM experience than most other people have.
Yeah.
Jay, for instance, is a demonstrator. He's stuck in the Pioneer booth most of the time.
Right.
That's just what he does. He's there setting up. but he's seeing people constantly coming into the booth. He's meeting rock stars. He's meeting people like us, or just saying hello to us.
Yeah.
John, on the other hand, I mean, John is walking around. He's talking to these companies. He's seeing, who might want some promotional stuff. How can we help you? I'm doing something very similar to that. But, most people who go to NAMM are retailers who are looking for product to buy, to sell to you, the customer. That's what's primarily happening. But then you have this other stuff going on. Like I said, Stevie Wonder is just kind of there wandering around. And
every year.
So was Weird Al Yankovic, and so was Kenny G, and so was Corey
Sinbad.
Feldman, and so was Sinbad. Yeah, it's everybody. It's just
Flash. Yeah.
Barrage. Yeah. Gene Simmons. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Most artists, part of their contract, I found out from a couple of big companies, the majority of artists in their contract, NAMM is a specific line.
Really?
Like, yeah, we'll endorse you, we'll give you guitars and amps, but when it comes to NAMM, you're appearing. Like, unless you're in an actual tour, you're showing up. And the reverse is true as well. Under normal circumstances, you get bands on the East Coast who will plan a starting tour. So they're playing like San Diego on the Saturday before NAMM, LA on the Sunday, and then they're already here. So they've figured out how to get paid twice. Because as you know, I'm a huge 80s metal fan, and that's the sweet spot for NAMM.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Those guys can't show up fast enough.
No.
I mean, you like bands that you've heard of or you've got one song from, they are running rampant, and because they're loving it. I've hung out with literally everybody at that show. I've had drinks with Billy Sheehan from Mr. Big and Racer X or Talus. Like, winery dogs just hanging out in the lobby of the hotel. Went over, hey man, I'm a big fan. Can I get you a drink? And I'm like, sure.
From my perspective, it's funny when I think about it, because I'm seeing these people walking around, and they're all guys who are about 60 or a little older.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're all dressing like dudes did in the 80s. Their hair isn't as thick anymore.
But
they've got the same jean jacket on and the boots and, but they're old guys walking around. And to me, I'm thinking this is like State Fair.
Yes.
It's kind of the same kind of towny vibe,
Yeah.
And I'm always
100%.
laughing at these guys. And I bring my brother Andy to the show, and he's like, oh my God, that's a real rock star.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in years. I'm like, no, those are just townies. It's like, no.
That was somebody once.
Yeah, that was somebody 30 years ago.
Well, the famous Mike Reno quote that never fails to make me laugh when people interviewed Mike Reno one time of Loverboy. And they said, hey, Mike, you still got those red leather pants? He goes, yeah, but the numbers have had a dynamic twist. They're like, what do you mean? He goes, well, back in the 80s, it was 32-36. Now it's 36-32.
Right.
Like, things have changed, but I still got them. But that's the thing. This is, and it's so funny every year when NAMM gets brought up, how people will come out of the woodwork and be like, yo, I heard you going to NAMM. It's like, anyway, I can get a ticket. And if I can get somebody a ticket, I try to, but it's not open to the public.
Oh, pass.
Right. In the past. And the experience is such that you're just inundated and surrounded. And Brian and John can attest this. When you come out of the convention center, they close the street off Convention Way coming up to the convention center. There's two main hotels. There's the Marriott and the Hilton. And then they put a stage up in the middle. Well, last year walking out, it was like Bootsy Collins and the Funk Review were playing. They had 5,000 people inside the fence watching. And then everyone else coming out going like, oh, this is good. And I think I mentioned, I sat up in the balcony having a couple beers at the hotel. And all of a sudden, Rob Snyder's daughter, Evelyn King? No. Oh, shit. I can't think of her name. It's the one that did X's Nose, the singer. It's Rob Snyder's daughter.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. But she was playing. She did a set. She was amazing. And every night, each hotel puts a lobby stage in. And you'll get like, a Van Halen cover band playing in the lobby. But they'll have members of like Night Ranger and Whitesnake and Bon Jovi jump on stage with them. And you're standing here for free. Just, for me, it's always just such a great time. Other people might be dude, I wouldn't put up with that. It's too many people, too loud, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know,
So I have a question for John and Jay, but I want to ask John first because John hasn't had a chance to talk in a minute.
actually, we're out of time, Brian. That's
Oh,
the
sorry, the show's. Thanks, guys.
That's about it. What is your coolest NAM experience that you can think of? What's the thing that just happened at NAM that was just like, wow, for you?
Probably there wasn't a celebrity encounter. And that's
So
one
there was
of-
never a Huey Lewis.
There wasn't any of that. Yeah,
thing.
I'm
Okay.
always the one that we laugh about that I never see anybody. Others that have been with me are like, oh, look I got a picture with Stevie Wonder or in the background, and I'm like, I saw the guys over at that booth, and I just never. No, the coolest thing that I have taken away from this or part of NAM that I appreciate is that ability, and Katie and Ben mentioned that, is these late night suppers where you're going out and it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. And yes, we should be in bed, but here you're hanging out with friends and you're sitting around BSing about whatever, the process, life in general, anything. And it gives you an opportunity to go and see some people that I don't see at other shows in a way that I can engage with them. Some of these people are people who speak at it or do some things at other shows. Well, here we can basically just kind of hang out and talk. So that's kind of a neat feature, and
It's nice.
It's nice. We did a similar thing in New York when we were there. This is just you can do this with a different group of people at this event because we're all there, and you can see
Oh, absolutely.
different.
Yeah, that's
our friends. We have different dealer friends from around the country that we've engaged with over the years, and we can go and spend some time with Ben. We can go spend some time with Jeff or Bill or Bob. I sat and had coffee or a beverage with any of them or all of them at one point in time. And
sure. Yeah.
you can do things like that, and it's really kind of a cool experience
You have access to people who you don't always have access to.
for sure.
How about you, Jay?
it's a super catch-up show. It's a super, like, I get to see you.
Right.
I get to see John. It's people that you don't see for a year or more, but it feels like it's been 10 minutes because we're all in this little family.
Yeah, you just slip right back into it. Yeah, it's like an old friend.
Yeah, I mean,
We are
it
old
literally.
friends.
Well, I mean, you and I have hung out at the Sandlot, that little bar
Right.
across from the Sheridan.
Yeah.
I've hung out there with you.
Next to the
Mikey.
7-Eleven with the best Cokes in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but honestly, the best experience for me had to be in the mid 80s. I made friends with a guy that I worked with in a grocery store who now is a guitar builder named Eddie Carlino Guitars. Give him a little prop. And another guy who, studying for the SATs, our parents put us in the same course, and we found out we both played guitar and liked the same music. So we would jam and became good friends at that point. Now here we are 40 years later. He's a very successful dentist in Massachusetts, but he's in cover bands. He's never let go of it. I've never let go of it. And the three of us got to meet 2 years ago on the NAM floor because Eddie had a booth. Mark showed up at the show, and Mark and I got to hang out. I hadn't seen Mark in 35 years, but NAM brought us back together because even though he's a dentist and successful and everything, at the heart of it, he's never let go of his passion for music. And that's what NAM always comes back around to. This is people that, just like the people that dress up. Dude, I've been out at 6:30 in the morning, coming home or going out, and you know what? They're dressed the same. And they've spent months preparing. Like, I'm wearing this chain wallet belt and I'm doing this. And it's like their time to shine. It's a stage.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
think
show
there's-
that we do that's like that.
It's
There's
interesting
no
you
show.
say that. It's very interesting you say that because if there's one thing that I go to NAM to do, and I don't think any other show is like this.
No,
No,
When I go to any of the other shows, when I go to DJ Expo or whatever, I'm there as an attendee. I'm checking things out. Yeah, I talk to
Right.
people and stuff. But NAM, I thought about this today, and it's interesting you said that. I go to NAM to be seen. That's the truth. I mean, because what I'm doing, it just full disclosure here. I mean, I'm trying to get people to jump on to, sponsor what I do with the videos and get product in, and you guys like to see it and I like to do it, and that's a good thing. So when I go to NAMM, I'm walking into a booth of a company maybe I've worked with before but haven't done anything with for a while. They're in the mood to move products. They're excited about products. They're trying to figure out different ways to reach clientele with the products they're doing. And they see me, BSR, we were just talking about you. What are you doing tonight? Want to go to dinner? Let's talk about this new thing we got. You got your camera? Let's do a video. That's why I go to NAMM, to be seen.
Well, remember last year, you, Pulse, and I went out for a quick Thai dinner because you were between things. And you're like, I've got a minute. And I'm like, cool, Pulse, he's got a minute. Let's the three of us go grab something. And it's like, well, let's do Thai. There's a Thai place over here. Okay, we go to get Thai. We're there, have a few drinks, have some Thai. You had to go somewhere. Pulse was tired. It's only like 10 o'clock. I went over and watched like pretty much 20 amazing guitar players do a Ronnie Montrose tribute. Then when we get done, I meet up with my friend Mark. We head back to the Hilton bar. There's like half the people. So now I'm over there talking to them about the show I just saw. I don't get that because I'm in the DJ world. But the world I want, like if I hit the lottery, the world I want to live in is the 80s guitar-driven hard rock metal.
Yeah.
Well, you get to hang out there.
Like when I see Kerry King in Vegas, I'm telling him the story of the time he yelled at the two short guys on the elevator or the two tall guys on the elevator who spoke German and only took the elevator up one floor, packed during NAMM at the Hilton. And he goes, really, guys, you couldn't effing walk? And they're like, pfft. And they turned around and here's Kerry King, this tiny little guy, but it's Kerry freaking King. And they're like, they just kind of sheepishly walked off. And I go, hey, Kerry, I love the new Kaler. And he goes, thanks, man. And within 2 seconds, he goes, I don't say thank you to anybody. But yeah, thanks. Literally, that came out of his mouth. I'm like, and when I told him that story at the famous Peppermill that night we were sitting by the fire, he's like, I never thank anybody. I go, you said that on the elevator. Like, that's the memories I've gotten from NAMM.
Mm-hmm. I have
it's a lot of pride. I feel special that a company is invested in me to represent them in a way that their buyers and reps and customers can walk away and say, wow, I'm really glad that I got to interact with that person. So I take it very seriously. We talk about partying. Dude, how many times have you been to a NAMM show where I wasn't one of the first people you saw in the morning?
Right.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. You're
We're always there.
But you're doing it.
Yeah.
Good for you. I can't do anymore. I got to.
No. And that's fine. But I take a lot of pride in, you want to stay out till 4 a.m. That means you're only getting 2 or 3 hours sleep, dude.
And that's what it is.
It's the 20-year-olds we have that just go, I want to rest. Like, shut up.
So I have a NAMM story that I can share. This is, I think, maybe it's not the coolest thing that ever happened in NAMM, but I think it's the most impressive thing to tell people about when I talk about NAMM. Aside from my function there, just an extracurricular thing. So I remember this was the first year I went to NAMM. It was 2009. And I was just kind of getting to know everybody. And Robert Marsh from IDJ Now came up to me and he said, hey, man, would you want to meet Quincy Jones? I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you want to meet Quincy Jones? I'm like, can we do that? He's like, yeah, he's doing a book signing. He's got like this new book and you can, buy the book. And if you do that, you can get it signed or whatever. He's in the Harman Kardon booth, which is, I think at the time it was called Harman Kardon.
Yeah.
Now it's just Harman. So, like, yeah, let's do it. So I was like, I'll buy the book. It's like a $50 book. I'll buy the book. You have a book, I'll have a book. We'll go get signed. So we walk up and and the security guys are like cutting it off. And he walks up and says something to somebody. It's like, yeah, come on, we're good. We're good. So we're the last people in line. And he's done at a certain time. And security's telling us, look, he's on a really busy schedule. Don't keep him. Just get your book signed and go. We're like, all right, cool. So Robert goes first. I take a picture of Robert. And then I go up and I put the book down and, say hello. And he signs the book. And I take the book and said, thank you. He says, hold on a minute. And he looks at my shirt. I had this little pin somebody had put on me that said, I support music education. Because they were doing this thing at NAM. And I'll put the pin on. So what do you do to support music education? And I'm like, oh shit, I'm on the spot here. Like, well, I do videos for DJs. I talk about music and I talk about performance, and I'm trying to help them out. He's like, that's cool. You're a DJ. You should talk to Clear Channel. They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of do. We talked for a few minutes about how much radio sucks.
There's video of this.
There's video. Well, I was going to show the picture.
Because I've seen the video and I'm like, wait, Brian, like, what'd you do today, Brian? He's like, this. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, there I'm looking ridiculous.
With Quincy Jones?
Yeah, that's me and Q right there.
Yeah.
And the book's over there, like kind of. But so here's where it got weirder. This is where, like, if it could get any weirder than this, any more surreal than this. So a couple days later, I'm flying home and I miss my connection flight in Phoenix. And I'm like, all right, can I get another flight? And they're like, not for 2 days, because there was some kind of big Super Bowl playoff game going on in Phoenix. So all the flights were booked. It's like, you're not going anywhere. Well, my sister lives in Phoenix. And I'd never been to her house.
Visit her.
So I called my sister at like 9 o'clock at night on whatever it was, like probably a Tuesday. And I said, hey, can you come and get me? I'm in Phoenix. She's like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. So she comes down, picks me up, brings me to her house. She's like, look, I got to work tomorrow, but I'll take off the next day and we'll just hang around and then you can go home the day after that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm there alone in her house. And this is the inauguration for Barack Obama. And she's got this huge TV in her house. So I'm watching this as I'm on the computer checking emails and things. And when it was over with, oh, and by the way, Quincy Jones and Aretha Franklin were in the bleachers right next to Barack Obama. And when it's over with, every news outlet is interviewing Quincy Jones about this historic presidential nomination. And I'm thinking to myself, I was just talking to this dude about shitty radio like 2 days ago. And he's kicking it with the president. That was weird. I don't know.
NAM stories.
The more surreal moments in my life.
I think the more surreal moment is the fact that you refer to him as Q. Let's go there. That didn't slap.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said Q. That's me and Q.
Yeah.
So let's just, I'm waiting for you to say something.
Notch, buddy.
You're interviewing Quincy Jones. He's like, I was talking to this old white guy at NAM about DJs, and it's like, no, but this is, it's that moment in time where, whether for good or bad, and I know people that are so, my wife, who I love to death, is like that. She's not like walk down the street celebrity, like, oh, big deal. Whereas I'm like, oh my God, we were having tacos one night and the drummer from Black Sabbath was in the restaurant having tacos. And I'm over here like flipping out about it. She's like, we'll just go say hi to him, son. I'm like, no, I got to be cool about it. She's like, he's a drummer for a band. Like, what is the big deal? But that's the thing about NAM. There's a lot of those moments where you walk down. I saw Robert, he knows my cousin Lisa too. I'll say Robert Wagner, because that's not his name, but I can't think of his name. I can't think of his last name. Somebody in the chat room, he's the lead singer of Warrant. He's been with Warrant for like 15 years.
Oh, the cherry
and
pie
it's Robert something. He used to be with
Wagner.
But I went up to him at NAM and I'm like, I was with Pulse and I go, hey, Robert, how's it going? He goes, hey man, how are you? And he's in the full on, like, I'm the lead singer of Warrant. Everyone wants to talk to me. And I go, you know what? I worked with you once and I'll bet any amount of money you remember it. And he goes, man, I worked with a lot of people, man. You don't really look familiar. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you want an autograph. And I'm like, no. You opened for me. He goes, really? I said, yeah. And the headliner was the Village People. He goes, oh, the show at the Riviera in Vegas and like 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, that one. But
okay, so
Mason, by the way.
That's it. Thank you, Robert Mason. Thank you.
I was just thinking to myself, there are. I'm like, I called him Q, but I call you Jay, but Jay's your name, so that
Right.
makes sense.
Q
But I
is
would
what
have
you
probably
call him
called
when
you if
you
your
call
name
him
was
on the phone.
if your name was like, I don't know, Jethro, I'd probably call you Jay anyway, because that's just how I roll.
Okay. Don't lie. You probably talked to him on the phone. Don't lie. I know you got a relationship with Quincy Jones, dude. It's
He
like
produces
8,000.
all of my music, you know.
Well, hey, you're probably buying all these records to give him samples. Don't think we're not on to your game.
Have you ever? Well, there's this thing on HBO Max right now, and it's the Fresh Prince reunion. I don't know. We just got HBO Max recently, so I was watching it, and it came out this, 2020, and I guess I knew this, but I wasn't really thinking about it. Quincy Jones produced that. That
Did he
was
really?
yeah, and he wrote the theme song and everything.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the story that Will Smith tells is amazing. He's like, I was in L.A. and I forget who he was with. And said, "Hey, let's go to Quincy Jones's birthday party." He's like, "No, wait, we can't just go to." He's like, "Yeah, we can go. We can go to his birthday party." So they go, and it's all these fat cats hanging out and partying and everything else. And Q and all stuff. Like, I'm glad you're here. I wrote a TV show, and I want you to be the lead actor. And
Wow.
Will Smith's like, "Well, I don't act. I'm just a rapper. I don't act." And he's like, "Yeah, but I think it'd be good for you. I wrote it with you in mind. I think it'd be good for you. I was going to tell you about it, but and he's like, I don't know if I could do that." And I say, "Hey, come to my office for a minute." So he brings Will Smith into his office and says, "Look, everybody sitting on that sofa out there is the person who can greenlight this thing. So, I think you want to accept this. This is what I'll tell you what. I'm going to do it. Give me 2 weeks. Let me take a crash course in acting and all this stuff, and then I can go and do like an audition for you." And he's like, "Oh no, there'll be none of that. You're going to walk out of this room and audition right now." And he's like, "Okay." So he does,
Wow.
and that's how it happened.
Wow.
But that's how Q rolls. He's like that. Quincy.
That's twice.
That's how Quincy
yeah.
does
That's
it.
twice. You said it once about Will Smith, and then you said it at the end. Don't think you got anything on this.
No, a lot of
I know
people
you're
call
hanging
me
out
B.
with Q.
What's up, B? A lot of people call me B.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh
thing.
yeah, trying to cover your fame and fortune.
Thing. No, but
You know, he used to be married to the actress from the Mod Squad, Quincy Jones. I don't know how many times he's been married, but I'm pretty sure he was married to the blonde actress from the original TV show, The Mod Squad.
he's the wife he's with now has been with for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, it was just
that would
kind
make
of funny.
sense to you because 6 Degrees of Separation with Prince, Link, the actor, played Prince's dad in Purple Rain.
Oh Jesus!
I do what I can to always
You're
bring it
just
back
not
to
going to let it
Prince.
go. You're not
I
going to let
just
it
do
go.
what I can to bring it back to Prince, amigo. That's
You're
what
not
I'm here
going to let
for.
it go.
So yes, his
If
wife.
Q was here, we could ask him.
His wife then from the '60s, or was
Like,
it
not Peggy
No,
Lipton, but
yeah, Peggy. Isn't
Peggy.
it? Yeah, Peggy. No, yeah, Margaret. Yeah, she went by Peggy, but yeah, Margaret Lipton.
Yeah, Peggy Lipton. Yeah, she was an actress. She was the blonde, the woman in the Mod Squad.
Before my time.
Right, but Link,
Literally.
the other actor, ended up playing Prince's dad in
Francis L. Yeah.
Yeah. See how I tie it all together? I do what I
But
can to make
Francis
it all
L is how he's credited. So don't yell at me for using L there.
And before we get too far on, I know we're going to be going to the NAMM thing. John, I'd be happy to do a little discussion about this other thing if you want me to. If not, we'll skip it.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just we'll skip on the skip on that since we've
Okay.
kind of not gone into anything specific on gear tonight. So
That makes sense.
yeah,
Okay. But yeah, I think moving forward, you're going to see this kind of, here's an opportunity for the outside. I wouldn't be surprised if NAMM next year says you can buy a $20 NAMM ticket that's all virtual, or you're going to be invited only to NAMM. And that's their way of picking up some of the cost from not having a show.
and I think
Well, I will say, I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah,
you.
yeah, I think one of the things we're going to see with that virtual next year is we're going to see more we're going to see live streaming from the event. I think you're going to see some of those stages where they're going to be featured, and there's going to be the lower third branding all over those. But I think we're going to see those things streamed for tens of thousands of people to watch it, and they'll see the whatever's going on the streets there, what have you. I think that's going to become a
DJNTV
huge
kind
part
of
of it.
thing.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know. I was telling John earlier, we were talking, that I've actually done some business at this virtual NAM.
Good.
I mean,
Good to
real
hear.
business. I've made some real contacts. This isn't just looking at equipment and saying, well, that's neat, or I don't like that, or I do like that.
This, and I don't, and again, we'll take the discussion the way we take it. I'm more amazed at who is not at NAM.
Yeah, it's a little
And
odd.
It's
But
very odd. And my question is, and I said this at the beginning of this whole pandemic, and I'll say it again now, I firmly believe that when we get back on our 2 feet and everything is going the way it's supposed to go, I have to say, I think the companies, even companies that are attending NAM, aren't out of the realm of this. But I think the companies that aren't supporting their end users are going to see that backlash eventually, where it's going to be, yeah, you guys didn't do much when we were down. You just kept giving us new gear that was expensive. Or we went to this big show and you guys didn't show up. So why would I buy your stuff? So if I need support, will you be there for me as a support mechanism? Because you can't even show up at a major show. Just as a question to the two of you. What do you think?
my observation without like throwing daggers anywhere, which I don't want to do, but my observation is I will take my hat off to companies like Pioneer DJ and companies like Electro Voice for showing up, because neither one of you need the show, but you're still there.
Right.
I will just throw that out there. There are companies who could do just fine without going there. There are other companies, on the other hand, that are big companies but really could use some publicity, who probably should be there somehow. And my understanding was it wasn't much of a buy-in.
I won't go into specifics of what I do and don't know, but I can tell you a regular NAM booth, let's say, doing a full NAM show, you're probably this year looking at maybe 1/40th of that, 1/30th of that.
And you got to remember, not everybody's going to be doing videos and stuff. There are companies out there who just have landing pages.
But there are companies that don't even have a presence, not even a
right.
link.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm shocked about. It's like you guys couldn't bone up, like, let's say between 5 and 20. You couldn't come up with that to just say we have something new and we want to show it.
What I'm finding interesting are the companies out there that aren't really a household name in the U.S., yet they're there.
Right.
They're looking for avenues to promote. And
That's
NAM.
the beauty of NAM. It's a worldwide show.
Yeah.
As you've seen, there are people from all over the world that come to this. It's like CES. You go to it with the name of, first time I attended, it was like Consumer Electronics Show. I'm like, oh, it'll be all the locals. They'll have that bag. And no, it was like, it's just, if you've never been, it's insane. It's so much bigger than NAM, but it's like everyone from every country under the sun. And they're all there to pitch. This is what we think the future of this product is. And we want to show you the 108-inch version of a plasma TV. It's like, I'm kind of amazed who's not at NAM this year, and who I think personally, from a customer standpoint, would have benefited.
I'm wondering if this isn't almost a test where it's like, okay, we didn't do any shows besides NAM or maybe another little show or two before everything got shut down. Business has been fine.
Yeah.
How about we continue this route and see how it goes? But I think they might be pushing it with this one.
I think this is going to be that fork in the road. And
what do I know?
Agree with you. I think there's companies that everyone in the company is getting a bonus this year during COVID because they still sold out of everything they had because people were locked at home and they took up DJing, or they took up guitar playing, or they took up keyboard or whatever. But I think when we get back to it, I think that's when this wave will come back rolling in and say, you know what? I'm going to be honest. They weren't at any shows. I didn't see anything online with them. They kept real quiet and kept pumping out gear. Why am I supporting them? They didn't support me.
And
They didn't
maybe on the
support
other
my
hand,
industry.
maybe on the other hand, it might be a situation where, some of these companies are just trying to hang on to their staff a little longer until things really pop for them. I mean, we don't know their story, but it does look suspicious.
That's a great perspective I had not thought of.
I mean, I know people in this business. They have, let's say, certain job descriptions it's what they do. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out for the life of me, what the hell are these people doing right now? Because there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
In their particular, it has to do with shows, and it has to do with, promotion of new things and all that. And there's no new things, and there's no show that they're at, but they're still employed.
Right.
So are these employers just trying to hang on to the family a little longer? I don't know. I mean, I hate to cast stones until I hear the explanation, I guess.
And I don't know that you're going to hear it. I think you're going to hear a very quick, we decided not to, we didn't have enough to show. I think you're going to hear that. That's what you're going to hear. Because even the companies that are there, let's be honest, every year is different. I mean, I've been in the booth where I can't keep up with what's new. And they're like, what? And people walk in the booth like you have. Hey, buddy. Hey, Brian, what's up? Hey, so what do you got that's new? Well, follow me.
Yeah.
And I'm pointing at every counter. It's like, this is new, this is new, this is new. And then you have other years where you're like, well, last year we didn't launch a thing. We had a full booth, packed house. We launched no actual new products. We had new pieces to show you that had come out months before, but physically, like, here's something new, didn't happen. And I remember saying, like, this is weird. I mean, I've done 15 of these shows. I've never seen this booth without a brand new thing.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because an observation that I made earlier, and I was telling John about it, was I think what a lot of companies are doing, instead of launching new stuff, they're almost relaunching what they tried to launch last year.
Yeah.
Which was a failure to launch with all the crap that happened.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, maybe you missed it, but last year we talked about this thing. We got it now, and we'd like to talk about it. So there's a lot of that.
I think it's going to still be that kissing babies, shaking hands, boots on the ground. And I will credit him in front of everyone on the show. The guy that's the best in our industry at it, hands down, is Mike from EV.
Oh,
hands down. Dude, I'm not on the website 10 minutes and I get a click. You have a contact requesting that you be their contact. And it's Mike from EV. And I'm like, oh, hey, Mike, really looking forward to the show. Hope it goes well for you, this and that. I'm like, I'm a wedding DJ from Temecula that does these shows. On a good year, I will see Mike every 2 months somewhere. Random. Like October, the big GC show, I'm walking along. Hey, Jay, Mike, what's going on? November, I'm in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. Tap on the shoulder, turn around. Hey, Mike, what's up? Like, how are you everywhere?
I don't know how much Mike Dussault, I don't know how much he has to do with the video production of the stuff that's happening at the show this year, but he's the one interviewing everybody.
Right.
And kind of feeding them questions to walk through the products.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen a handful of videos that companies have produced for their time slot. And by far, EV, like if there was an Oscar for this, they would get Best Picture on.
Dude,
all
their
the
booth last year.
They're good. They're very good.
Their booth last year. Come on, the lighting alone in their booth last year. Remember?
Yeah,
I do. We walked in. I was like,
it's been the same for a couple of years, but it's good. Yeah,
I'm like, where did they get these lights? Those old fashioned. Remember the ones we saw downstairs with more?
Yeah.
Those
like heat lamps or something.
Yeah, they look like heat lamps. I'm like, oh my god, these are awesome. And I'm like, Mike, great job. He's like, yeah, we're doing what we do. And I'm like,
yeah, we're trying some stuff.
Oh yeah, guys, you need to buy a speaker. Call Mike. Sorry, I'm being honest.
Mike's a
like
good guy.
he's amazing. And that the video I saw on the Evolve 50M, and somebody outside asked me like, yeah, I heard EV's got a new tower. I go, hey, BSR is doing weddings for like 150 people with two of the 30s. I go, these 250Ms, like you were thinking about getting multiple subs and multiple tops. I think this is a solution. Well, they're expensive. I go, compared to buying 4 subs and 3 tops and 2 tops, and that, come on, it's
My
value.
son-in-law, he made the comment the other day, which it was unsolicited. He was just talking about it. He says, "You know what's amazing about the 30M is it keeps up with my Marshall stack." Said it's
Who said that?
my son-in-law. Harris.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this thing
That's
keeps
saying
up
a
with my
lot.
Marshall. Yeah, it's like keeps
Yeah.
up my Marshall stack for guitar. So
Yeah.
it's that good.
I heard the
Wow.
4 Evolve 50s in white last November in Scottsdale at a show with Mike, and I was blown. I've never heard the Evolve 50s used in a real environment, turned up. They were amazing. 4 of them in a room with probably 200 people. It was earth shattering. They were so good. They were. They absolutely were. I can't say enough nice things.
Bill Marsh.
And Mike is just
Shut up, dude.
awesome. What happened? Bill Marsh?
Just the peanut gallery
His
talking
best
smack
EQ.
in there about Brian's
Crazy
best
kids.
EQ.
Crazy kids.
Twist my ass. How's that?
Well, gentlemen, we should wrap things up for tonight.
When's the show start? Is this? When are we going to start filming?
Yeah, we'll get a little bit. This was
Next.
actually just the warm up, and you got to go over to DJNTV.com/chill. That's where the actual show.
Oh yeah, that show's going to be good. Everyone liked the video too.
So
now
yeah, you guys
12
can go over there and you can actually hear the unedited version of what happened in today's talk with Jay.
Yes,
He'll
because I didn't
share.
quite realize what the rules were. Apparently, sorry,
Yeah,
John.
well, that's okay. I don't think we. I
It was a little confusing. I'm like, are we filming this? or
Yeah,
is this
it's like-
going to go like a demo? Or?
Well, it was a product where you guys were. It was an opportunity for you guys to kind of explain, but without
Right.
knowing what level of information that we've passed back and forth.
No.
this
And
is
sadly, when you have the PR in the 4 squares, it's John, Carolyn from our PR company, Pulse, and me. And as I'm talking, I keep looking off on the screen at Carolyn, and she's just like not mean or anything. She's like happy.
Yeah, it's
but I'm like, wait, am I answering to her? Like, how does this work?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
can I be me or do I have to like dial it down? So I didn't swear or anything, but I did make a comment that I will be happy to repeat.
That was taken out of the video, and the video turned out well. For if you guys get a chance to watch it, it's only about 3 minutes long. Just to getting some impressions on the S7 mixer that was released here today.
I would be happy to talk about it.
He's got it right there.
there.
Go check that out. We talked about that in the last show with Ben and Katie. Also shared some insight and such from that I had gotten today from my conversation with Jay and Paul. So it was a good
Less
time.
expensive than the S9. It's a good value if that's what you're into.
And the S10 thing, that was we had to have that conversation.
I've had to answer that 10 times today. Why didn't you just call it the S10? I'm like, Chevrolet owns copyright on that.
There's a trick.
Okay.
There's a
Same
trick.
reason Samsung didn't do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then I get that. Like, Samsung had an S7 phone. I'm like, well, they had an S7. This isn't the S7. It's the DJM S7.
Yeah.
This is Quincy Jones, not Q,
Yeah.
unless you're Brian.
Good save. Good
All
save.
right.
I try.
Well, thank you guys for being with us again. Head out to DJNTV.com/chill and have yourself a good evening, and we'll catch you next week. Good night, everybody.